All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I got another watch list for you, and we are at the breaking point of 2022. Friday was absolutely insane. We closed below that 3,600 level, and if you remember, we brought up this chart. That is the 200-week moving average. So, however we play this week and wherever we close, it is going to have a lot of implications, but coming into this week, there is going to be a lot of eyes on the levels where we go, and actually, we kind of have quite the full schedule. So, like I said, Friday was crazy. We went below 3,600 on the SPY, the SPX, but the futures, they did not go below the 3,600, or I think they did, but they didn't go to the 3,588. So, we still got a little balancing around. Some people are calling for the upside. I did go long as we entered into the lows. We have a couple of plays we're going to talk about, but the point is, this week coming off of Friday and kind of how we sold through the lows and now entering a new month, it is going to be wild, and we are setting up now for a lot of data and power, so I hope you're ready. But drop your thumbs up on the video. Oh wait, I don't even know I'm saying that. No, wait, hold on. I got the keys. I got the plays. We have the recap. Okay, now you can like the video, okay? And we're going to see you there. And today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. I need your help. You, right now, if you're listening, for real, man, okay? This is the random comment picker. And what we do on Sunday, we pick a random option trade from the comments. So you need to post a random option trade, strike price, expiration date, all of that. We are going to do a random comment picker, keep it below $100. We are going to buy it tomorrow and see what happens. But come on, let's just see. It's holding up. It's Sunday. It's already an exciting week. And just last time during volatility, the random account, usually we hit something. So run it, baby.
Walking to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel like it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
All right, off the bat, Chad, you better be hyped. I hope you know I'm hyped this week. And you like this shirt? I posted the Arabian Prince interview. I haven't gone golfing, but this is what I would wear if I was going to go golf. Okay, anyways, but as far as the keys, you got to watch the dance at the levels. The levels this week and where we close, this is going to be important. Again, coming back to this chart, the thing about the 200-week moving average is that anytime we have dropped below that, if you really are not able to bounce from here, the market has dropped about 30 to 40% lower. Again, you are entering in a breaking point. Even looking at 3,600, why this level is so important is that it goes all the way back to December of 2020. That is where we were really coming off the pandemic and then leading into the beginning of 2021, where a lot of things went crazy. But you got to realize, once we go lower than here, any of the other points below here now, this is entering 2020 and even like 2019 levels. It gets a little bit wild here. So that's another reason why these levels are going to be important. How we trade around here will be the key. But in addition to that, we've been saying it, just keep your eyes out for the upside, even if it goes below any of these levels. Even in the past, looking at the chart again, 2011, you can go below it for a little bit and then we move back up. The whole point I'm trying to tell you here is that we are still going to have a lot of time. Is this going to play out like May 10th? If we do start to drop real big from here, though, this will look like the lead up into May 10th. But all in all, one thing you got to keep in mind now, there's a lot of fear as we enter the levels. People are freaking out, but we still have a couple of weeks until we get a lot of other data. So just keep in mind, you might do a lot of dancing, and like we've been saying, hitting new lows with a little upside sprinkled in between. That is probably what we're going to get. So this week, watch out for the levels, see what new levels we reach, whatever levels we break. Again, I'm going to have a bunch of new levels for you in the morning tomorrow. And then on top of it, we are going to be getting a bunch of Fed speakers. And then on Friday, that jobs report, I think that is going to be the big mover. But like I'm saying, you are going to have a ton of Fed speakers leading into it. So here's a little schedule. I'm not going to read it out loud, but you could see from tomorrow all the way to Friday, from Bostic to Bester to Logan, John Williams, the head of the Fed of New York, you know, they're all going to be speaking. So we haven't seen too big big of reactions last week, but just in the nature of everything, watch to see if they say anything, see how it moves bonds, and that's what we're going to have to talk about. But if the Fed doesn't move anything this week, non-farm payrolls on Friday, depending on how that comes out, that will definitely be a catalyst for the market, the bonds and dollar. And it's very simple. If that jobs report comes in bad, that will be a very good reaction. Everybody would love a bad jobs report right now. If it comes in a little too good, that will be a negative reaction. Again, this is just flowing in lines with the whole jobs market being strong and Powell being able to raise, but this will mean a lot, especially with the market at these levels. So watch out for that. But another thing to keep in mind, and this is your third key, the earnings are right around the corner. Again, we got to get a couple of companies last week, but before you know it, after this data, the non-farms, everything else, you're going to get the bank earnings, then Netflix, tech stocks, and then before you know it, Amazon, I think Apple, all that, it is going to be the end of the month. So 3 weeks from today. So keep your eyes out for that. And depending on how we move, again, depending on how those levels play out, just keep in mind as more time goes on, some people are going to keep in mind, hey, well, we have earnings setting up, people will position, and if we get any early signs that things aren't as bad as expected or as bad as feared, just don't underestimate. This is what you're going to hear a lot all this week. Even if we go into lower levels, people are going to talk about a lot of bad being priced in and being at peak fear more or less. So keep that in mind. Another thing and another key this week, you have an OPEC meeting, and this can be a very big driver for oil. So we'll talk about that with the plays. But the one big thing about this meeting, this is their first in-person OPEC meeting in 2 years. So a lot of people are saying they're not going to meet in person and do something small. So we will see what happens. But finally, just tying it into the macro and everything else we saw last week, those bonds and currencies are still key. Again, Thursday, Friday, we saw a little bit of detachment, but it was still there. And what we learned from Friday, or at least what I picked up on, and I could be wrong on it, but I definitely am feeling strong about it. But I'm really seeing that the bonds might be having a stronger pull here until the currencies start moving. Essentially, the yen and pound, they made very, very big moves, and now they're kind of in the midst of like stabilizing after the big flush. But the bonds, that is the thing that's been moving and creeping a lot. And if you've noticed the correlation with like TLT and the SPY, they've been hitting here, but in the sense of peak volatility, that move index is high, and it just seems like the bonds are really being the driving sail here. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. Other than that, though, keep your eyes on for the pound. Just remember all of that stuff from UK and anything over here. Again, I'm giving this to you early now. Even by the time we wake up, just considering with what we got last week, we may get a lot. And there's going to be a little fake Fed rumor going around. Everyone's going to be like, there's a closed board meeting. They do it all the time. So don't worry about that. But we're going to see what news do we wake up to. Keep in mind the UK, the Japan stuff. See how we open. There will be other data this week, and it will have the ability to move things. But again, whether it's the Fed speakers or not, I think it's most likely going to be that jobs report that's going to move everything. And then it's really going to be about the levels. How does it hold up? And does real Fanick and Peer emerge? So I hope you're ready. But let's get into the plays. So right off the bat, I got a bunch of different plays that I'm looking at for this week. Again, coming in from last week, I have a lot of futures. That NQ that I was holding, man, I was a little b-boy about it. I cut out at the loss, and then like 20 minutes later, it sold out. I lost $1,400. I made $1,000 on the ES and NQ the day before. So I was like, all right, it's kind of a watch. I didn't want to like risk any of the gains that I had there. And the market was moving very, very slow, even at the lows. So that was a trade. If I held it, it would have been good. But like I said on Friday, as we started to hit into the lows, I did start picking up some. So I did go long on the micro ES and the ES, but I am now factoring in some of the upside, and I am holding one of those Dow shorts. So we're going to get into that. But what I'm trying to say here is that this back and forth on the SPY, the NASDAQ, the Dow this week, even those futures, I think we're going to have a lot of day trading opportunities. And just depending on how we move with these levels, like I'm saying, this really is a breaking point of the year. Even then, why I'm going long, and I'm going to be holding these longs. If I'm not able to get some good flips on them, even if I go down, I'm going to be down to hold them, because the point is here, we've had a couple of clean breaks at this level over history. But again, coming to this chart, it dances around once you get here. So I think we're going to visit 360 at some other point. So whether we flush down, I think it'll come back eventually. Maybe it bounces, but the whole idea is I think this level will be a key one. Whether we break it or not, you are going to visit this point at some point, either by the end of the year, even early into next year, who knows, maybe sooner than later. So keep all that in mind. But as far as the first play, I'm starting here with oil, and it's easy to believe. You have OPEC this week, and like I'm saying now, this is the final quarter that we're beginning. It's leading into winter and everything else. I've been eyeing these plays. I think it might be time. So that BP, that January one, I still think that one's in play, but now I think we have a little bit more time. Now that those are cheap, I might pick up some of those, maybe even closer to the money, or I'm going to look for some more time. I will be looking at the futures, and I don't have it up here, but natural gas as well. We were talking all about it last week. I'm still in those plays. We are holding down, but overall, I think after OPEC, and then I think after 1 or 2 weeks, maybe by earnings, I do think now oil, we should start to get it going. But a lot of people are saying the first in-person meeting, they're going to probably do something big, but if anything is going to spark oil and energy after 6 weeks of decline in this big sell-off, it's probably going to be a big OPEC meeting. So definitely watch that this week. That is definitely the first play to watch. Then play number 2, baby, Intel. I really like this one. Chips have already been beaten down. Remember, I did add some NVIDIA, so I have that towards the upside, but actually, I will be looking at Intel for a positive effect. The chips have been beaten down. They announced that Mobileye IPO, so we'll see what that does. Again, I don't have high hopes for it, and if the market does get bad, I'm not going to be attached to this play, but if we do get any sort of rebound effect, any positive news with Mobileye, all of that, again, that is just big news for them. I think that one could have a big effect, so definitely watching Intel this week. And then finally, number 3, baby, Tesla. I'm actually really excited for this one too. The delivery numbers, and I'm not excited about that, but now that the delivery numbers are out of the way, maybe the stock is a little easier to move. So we haven't played it last week. Remember, we flipped out. I was actually able to walk away with profit. Maybe it might be a good time here. They're holding a good level, and depending on what the market does, again, if it really wants to flush through levels now, I think some of these safe havens, they might start getting clapped alongside it. So watch out for that, but those are the main plays. As far as everything else, we'll start here with the holdings because you can see what I added on Friday. I closed out the Apple short. I took a $300 profit, then I went double the size with 100 shares to the upside. I was still holding the NQ, so I said, okay, let me go in, buy some of this upside, but they got mollywopped. I'm holding down 472, but now that is going to be one of the upside plays that I want to hold around here. I grabbed that. I grabbed 50 shares of Amazon at 113.53, only down 26 bucks, so 50 cents a share. It was able to go up and then came back down throughout the day, but we just had good positioning in the morning, and then I'm holding that NVIDIA, and then I have the ES. It says I'm down 2,000 on it, but that is including the option future that I have towards November. Remember, we did that a couple of weeks. We made some profits to pretty much make that one free, but that one's showing $800 loss, and I took $1,400 loss from buying at 36.33, 33 points above the 3,600, and then I also grabbed an MES on Friday, and that's not showing up here, but I grabbed that one a little bit lower, and I'm holding down like 50 bucks on that. But besides that, I added a lot of upside on Friday. I closed my NQ for $700 profit. Now all I have is the downside on the MYM. I'm holding a short on the pound, and then we have upside on Apple, Amazon, the ES, and then I'm still holding downside on EWG and the Yang, and then I have the Adobe and ARC to the upside. So believe it or not, now I'm weighted a little bit more to the upside, and now what I'm going to do in my plan here, depending on how this week plays out, if it turns ugly, I plan to hold these upside a little bit later, but I'm going to use that as my insurance. I will add more shorts here, even into the lows, even if it gets dangerous, but that is expecting a big flush. Otherwise, if we bounce, I'm going to ride all these up and then look to now build onto the downside as we get to the end of the year. So hopefully you see what I'm doing here. Going to use some broader coverage from the futures, but we've taken a lot of the downside profit, got a little bit of downside now, a lot of upside, and then depending on this week and what it gives us, we're going to maneuver around. So I hope you're ready, but wait, I think that's it. Is that it? I don't even think I have anything else. I think so. I'm going to be watching oil. I already told you, yeah. That is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure Hydra Healthy ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. You need to remember everything you tell yourself right now is of the utmost importance. Those who stay in the game, they got the right internal message. They're focused. Don't get distracted by the noise. And no matter what, everything is going to be temporary. What that means, I need you to look ahead. This is all in the moment. It's just a blip. Keep looking ahead, and Chad, Welcome to the new quarter. The end of the year is almost here. You know we're about to start a new one. So I hope you're ready. But drink that water, stay hydrated, healthy, and I'll see you in the morning. Oh, man, are you ready? I'm excited. I'm really excited. I didn't even lose my voice or anything. Honestly, I know I'm, like, screaming, but it's, like, a calm, cool, like, I told you that woosah. I enjoyed the weekend, bro. I got mad relaxed. I told you I'm even wearing the golf short. Let's just get it, baby. Chad, you are ready, babe. Okay, I love you. So good night, good morning. I'll see you in the morning, and let's go. You better bring the vibes in the morning. I want you to wake up in the morning with the vibes and drive, you know? They don't feel me.